Hey guys, it's Dilleen here. This video is the contract dated video, and to explain a little bit more, basically you're getting this video now because you've successfully signed a contract to sale, an offer for an investment property. So congratulations. It's the start of a very long process. I'm going to take you through today in this video between 5 to 7 different key points of things to remember, things to consider, and just explaining a little bit about the process from this point onwards now that the contract of sale has been dated. All the instructions, all the step-by-step process is going to be in the email, but of course reading it's one thing, some things can get missed, and this is just a verbal explanation of what happens and some key things to remember as we go through this process of buying your investment property. So what happens from here, now that the contract of sale has been dated in many different states, it's all different, of course. You probably would have heard this from myself or the team prior, but now that the contract has been dated, there's a time frame that we need to work towards. So usually within Queensland or WA or Adelaide, in those 3 states, which we predominantly buy in a lot at the moment, for various reasons that we would have gone through investment-wise, you've got a 21-day finance clause period. So that means if the contract has been dated today or within the last 3 days, as an example, from whatever time frame the actual contract date, whatever its date is on the contract, you've got 21 days from that point to get your finance approved. Now, bear in mind, do not freak out. I'm going to say this a few times throughout this video. Don't freak out in terms of time frames, because I've been through thousands of transactions and helped hundreds if not thousands of people buy investment properties, and many of my own, and extensions can happen. So don't freak out if you think that if it gets to day, let's say 19 or 20, and the finance isn't approved yet, and the finance clause can be extended. How that process works, if it gets to day 18 or 19, or we'll always put an automatic extension in place. Our team, the acquisitions team, will reach out to the conveyancers and solicitors, and we'll keep you guys in the loop. But essentially, if you need an extra 7 to 10 days, sometimes 14 days, that can be provided literally 99% of the time. Along with the 21-day finance clause, you've also got generally a pest and building clause. Now, it's different in different states, but Queensland, as an example, we usually put a 14-day pest and building clause. WA do it a little bit differently, but you still have a pest and building clause in there. So now that the contract is dated, behind the scenes, there's a lot that goes on, and essentially the team here, the acquisitions teams, which help people from throughout the process from now that they've signed a contract all the way through to and beyond settlement, we call them the acquisitions team, and they will essentially right away, now that the contract's been dated, they probably have already done this, or they might be doing it literally today. They will organize a pest and building inspection report if it hasn't been done already. Occasionally we'll have a property that already has a pest and building inspection report on it, but 99% of the time they will now automatically coordinate a pest and building inspection report. This includes making sure that behind the scenes that the pest and building inspector, the qualified person that we get to go out there, which you'll have direct contact with them soon as well, and you'll be able to chat to them if you want to about the condition of the property, etc. But we'll make sure that because 99 or 90% plus of the properties that we acquire, as you probably know, are generally tenanted. So sometimes it requires a lot of effort from us behind the scenes to coordinate, getting the access to the actual property, getting the organizer, pest and building inspector to actually be able to get there, and having the tenants let them in. Another thing to consider, now that the contract's been dated, in the email you have exact time frame of when the initial deposit needs to be paid. So usually, depending on what state, usually it's $1,000, or it can be between $1,000 to $5,000 initial holding deposit. Again, these deposits are generally refundable if anything goes wrong, which 99% of the time nothing does. Right now that the contract's been dated, if you're working with your own mortgage broker, bank, or lender, as an example, or if you're working with our team, Justin or Steve, or any of the finance team from Pico Financial, essentially, now that the contract's dated, this contract needs to go to the bank. It needs to go to your broker immediately. So if you are using one of the finance guys from our team, whether it's Justin, Steve, or any of the others, you would probably notice in this email they would be CC'd or BCC'd in the actual email. We try to make it as seamless as possible for you guys throughout the process, so that you're not having to chase or anything like that. So you'd probably notice if you are using our team, they're already CC'd in this email so that they actually have a copy of this contract to sell, because the bank now needs to look at the contract, look at the terms, look at the conditions, look at the timeframes, look at the address, look at all that information, look at how much it's rented for at the moment currently, so on and so forth. So they need this contract to sell. So if you have your own broker, please forward this on to them. If you're using your own external broker, we would have realistically already asked for that information and tried to forward it on to them, but sometimes it is hard to get this information if you aren't using one of our finance members from our finance team. So take this email and forward it to your bank or your broker immediately as soon as you can, and make sure that the actual loan application is getting processed, as quick as possible. So generally a good time to get it done with it is literally within 48 hours of the contract being dated. So any questions, contact our acquisitions team. They'll be able to help you out with that and give you a bit more guidance via email or phone. Moving forward from that, now is the time to, of course, make sure you've got your funds, whether you're releasing equity, whether you've got savings, whether you've got funds in a savings account as an example. Generally within that 21-day period, like you usually put down obviously the first $1,000 to $5,000 deposit, but as you get ready, if you need to transfer funds to make it available, whether it's in a redraw facility or whether it's from one bank to another bank, now's the time to start having that in the back of your mind. You've got a bit of time, but information from your mortgage broker or lender to basically outline exactly how much funds you need to complete the purchase. So if you're buying a 300K property and it's 10%, then 30,000 plus stamp duty plus legal fees, they should give you a breakdown, and there would have been an estimated breakdown in the original email for the property that we're going through with. One of the last things as well is solicitor. And now that the contract has been dated, if you're using our contact for a solicitor or conveyancer, they would be CC'd in this email as well, or be CC'd, and they would now reach out to you. So if we go through various conveyancing solicitors. The main one is Fazzini Legal. The other one might be CSN Conveyancing. Or if you're planning to use your own, like now is the time they would be, actually the contract's being dated. So they would usually be requiring verification of identity. If you are using one of our referrals, they will reach out to you literally within the next 2 to 3 days, ideally, or likely, and they'll ask for a verification of identity. So they might ask for your standard stuff like a copy of your driver's license and all that kind of stuff as well. Buying a property throughout the process can be difficult, it can be stressful. We try to make it as easy as possible, but especially the first 1, 2, 3, or 4, the process can be tedious. There's a lot of different steps and things that we've got to accomplish throughout the way. Try to hang in there. If you have any questions or concerns, email us, contact us, give us a call, and ask for either Sarah, Natalia, or any of the other members of the acquisition team, and they'll be able to help you out and guide you throughout the process. If you can't get a hold of me for any reason, I'm, as you probably know, extremely busy, and we've gone through the property. Either you would have gone through the property with myself or Justin, who are both very extremely experienced when it comes to investment properties. But now moving forward, the best people to get in contact with either Sarah, Natalia, or the acquisitions team, because they will be the ones to guide you. Anything you need, they'll be able to get that to you as soon as possible, right away, literally within hopefully the first 24 to 48 hours. But hang in there. It's a long period of time. Sometimes you've got a day or two where you're not sure what's happening moving forward. Sometimes you're literally just waiting for finance. Sometimes you're waiting for different things to happen. So it can be stressful, but hang in there, and it's all part of the process, all part of the property investment journey. Hang in there, and we'll get through this successful property investment that you're trying to purchase, and there'll be many more to come.